Hey everybody, it's Zach, and welcome back to the Life with Zach channel. Thanks for tuning in for today's video, and I hope you take the chance to check out some of the other recordings that I have up on my channel about everything that goes on in my life, including things like some of our travel, um, reviews of a bunch of the stuff I have, things like that that I hope you find useful and entertaining. And as always, be sure to like or to click the subscribe button to see what's coming out on my channel. So today I'm doing something a little bit different. I have a couple of friends of mine who told me that it might be a good idea to talk about some of the social media stuff that I do. If you know me, I'm really big into social media. I run 8 different social media channels for various nonprofit and small groups here where I live in Virginia. These channels, some of them I took over when they were very small and they have really blossomed. Others I've started myself. There's even a group that I manage for, that I created for our region that has grown to several thousand members already, and a lot of participants. So I have a lot of experience running these pages and have had some success. I mean, some of these pages have gone from maybe 100 or so followers to 4 or 5,000, which, considering where I'm from, with a small population, is pretty good. And these are really targeted groups. So the one thing I will say though is I am not a trained social media expert, and I think there are people like that out there. I don't know what program you go to or what degree you get, except for maybe communications, to be social media expert. But I have learned through experience and sometimes the school of hard knocks, discovering what does and does not work with social media, um, and wanted to just share some of those tips with you. I also have worked with various different platforms. So not only Facebook, which is the one my generation grew up with, but also Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, a whole bunch of different ones, and some that have come and gone, some that I found that were not useful. But so I have some experience probably over the last, oh goodness, 10, 12 years working with different Facebook pages, different Instagram pages, and all different types of social media platforms. Um, so what I'm going to do is, for the next couple weeks, um, release a series of 5 videos highlighting my top 10 social media tricks, tips, whatever you want to call them, in order to help you, who might be somebody trying to learn more about how to improve their organization or their group's social media presence. Now, these are really tailored for um, groups and organizations, but if you're trying to be an influencer or trying to run a personal social media page or a group or something, I think these will be helpful. But it's designed kind of to be tips and tricks on how to engage with and interact with the public, not necessarily your friends or something like that, to get them to pay more attention to you. So today we're going to talk about 2 of them. The first one is, be sure to use an image or a video or some type of other visual um, item with whatever you post. Now, that is probably the most important thing that I'm going to talk about in these videos, because an image or a video or a GIF or whatever visual material you're using is there to draw attention to your post. And really that's what you want, because on any platform, you're sharing some type of information. It could be written information. It could be very brief written information, like on Twitter. It could be written information that comes, or spoken information that comes through a video, really anything like that. So if you have something there that grabs people's attention, um, they're going to be drawn in and they're going to take the time to read or to listen to whatever you have. If you don't have that, okay, then they're not going to pay attention as much. So on Facebook or Twitter, the simple way to do that is to post something alongside of your text. Now, this does not have to be the coolest or the best or the most creative visual, whatever, image or video that you've ever seen. Obviously, if you have a great picture, like if you're a garbage man and you have a great picture of you picking up the trash and looking great doing that, people are going to pay more attention to that than any other type of image. But the reality is, if you post even an image that could be your logo, or just a stock something that you made, or an image that you've used before, they're going to pay more attention to that than they would just text. Now, when I was growing up with Facebook, and early on, I think there was a lot more reliance on text stuff on Facebook, and that's kind of becoming, I guess, I don't want to admit it, a legacy platform. Um, and the idea maybe sometimes that we still need to put a lot of text is there. But if you don't have an image, okay, and if you don't have an image on Twitter, you're not going to get the attention that you need. And obviously with Instagram, you have to have an image for it to work. And what has happened is people have become so used to seeing that image that that's what they look for. And if they just see text, most of the time, and I'm guilty of this, they just keep scrolling because they don't want to take the time to read it if it's not something they think they're going to be interested in seeing. The same thing goes with Snapchat and TikTok. You know, if you're going to have a video up there, you have to have a thumbnail or the still image that pops up initially, or the first few um, frames of your video. They're going to attract someone's attention, because if you don't have that, if it doesn't look cool and interesting at the beginning, no one's going to pay any attention. So again, be sure to have some type of image, some type of video, some type of visual that draw people in to whatever it is that you're posting. A lot of times I've kind of reused things or used an organizational logo if an image is not available. So again, that's possible. And I will say I was really surprised a couple of weeks ago. I did that with a post where I just used an organizational logo because, silly me, I forgot to take a picture while we were out doing something. And that post went kind of viral in terms of the views that it got compared to a lot of others. So again, it doesn't have to be a creative image. That was, again, just the logo. And then the text was what actually drew people, was what got people to share and like and stuff. But I don't think people looked at the text had there not been an image there. So number one rule, social media, have some type of image, something that is going to draw people's attention. Rule number two, and this one I've really learned the hard way, is don't have too much of something. Now, we're going to talk later about how often you should post, what are some of the pitfalls with that. So that's not what we're really talking about here. Instead, I'm talking about just the amount of things that you have in one social media post. So back in the olden days, it was really popular for people to do things like an entire photo album of an event, or, and we still see these, you might go on Instagram and someone will have some great photos, and then the caption to that is 10 paragraphs long. And if you want to read the whole thing, it's going to take you like 15 minutes to get through it. The reality is, very few people on your social media accounts are going to take that much time to look at something. They are scrolling through. They want to catch up on the information that's going on in their lives, see what their friends having for dinner, and then go off and do whatever they're wanting to do. They want new information constantly coming up. They don't want to take the time to look through all that. Okay. And as much as that hurts us, because obviously if we're involved in an organization, we have some vested interest and we're passionate about it probably. So we think that people want to read as much as possible about it, when the reality is they don't. And that might hurt us a little bit inside, but I think we can live with it. Instead, what you need to do is post basically a text teaser on Facebook or Instagram, and then draw people to your website for more information. Because there are people that are going to want to learn more. Okay, so if you post a picture of an antique car and you're trying to talk about how to fix the carburetor on it, or how you fix the carburetor on it, guess what? You can post fix a carburetor on Instagram, a link to the website, and someone who's like, oh, that's my car. I want to fix the carburetor too. We're going to go there and they're going to read how you fixed it. Okay. Add a bonus to that, you're drawing more audience to your page, your web page. So you only need to use a few sentences on Facebook or Instagram. Obviously, with Twitter, with the character limit, you're already doing that. And people have gotten in the habit of that's all the information that they're seeing. There was a time when I first started using Twitter where I might post a tweet and then like reply to it 6 times in order to get more information. Or I'm sure that we've seen these services where they like Facebook and Twitter talk to each other. So you'll post something on Facebook and then it's like the first part of the sentence ends up on Twitter, and it's just too much information there and people are overwhelmed. They're not there to get that. So you want to post as a little bit of text, or even in terms of photographs. So again, back to those photo albums we used to post. How many people, unless it was someone you're like, look at that person, I want to see how dumb they were acting today, or I wonder what my crush is doing was doing Saturday evening, and you creepily clicking through all of their photographs. People did not look at those albums, and today it's much worse. They're not going to look at any of them. They might see the first 2 or 3. So you want to pick the good photographs and put there. You want to pick the real bare bone details of this is what I want to share. This is a really important thing people have to know about what went on. If I'm that garbage man, the really important thing is I picked up 60 trash cans today. How heavy each one was and the type they were might be interesting to somebody, but the general public doesn't care. Okay, they don't really care. So you want to say, okay, I'm trying to show them how busy we are. Picked up 60 trash cans. And then your website, trashman.org, you talk about how many trash cans it was and how long it took and all that other stuff, because the people who are really interested will be able to see that. The same thing goes with the sites that you post videos on. Okay, if you post a video on Instagram that goes on for 10 or 15 minutes, it better be really, 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 really good if people are going to watch it. Okay. I monitor the analytics on all of the pages that I manage, and very few videos get watched all the way through. And to be honest, I'm not sure that any of the videos that I've posted people have watched all the way through. I like to think inside maybe they did, but I don't know if they ever really did. So what you need to do is with a video, get out what you're talking about first of all. Okay. Again, with some kind of like teaser, like we talked about with the images. And then that video can serve as the same thing that the website is serving for the image. If people then are now attracted to that and want to know, oh, hey, this is how they change the carburetor in this car, and this is what they're doing, they're going to watch the rest of the video. Or you know what? You can even have a trailer to that video and then put the full one on YouTube and put the link there for people to go watch. And then again, you're drawing people now to your YouTube channel. And people are like, oh, hey, not only does he have how to change the carburetor, he's got how to change the brakes on here. And I'm going to watch that video too. So you can put really short trailers on social media. And we end up with that on Snapchat and TikTok all the time anyway. So you should have some experience with that. And then you can link those to longer videos. So again, please don't put too much information. I was guilty of that early on, probably all were. And eventually I figured out, once I learned how to use analytics, the people weren't even clicking the read more button on Facebook to see these longer articles that I was spending all this time writing. But when I started putting a link in just a short trailer, we were getting a lot more traffic that went from the Facebook or the Instagram or the Twitter page to the website than we were ever getting people clicking read more on Facebook or Instagram. So people then, once they got there, also explored other pages that we had and learned more about our organizations and drove up traffic that way, or in some cases, spent money or made donations. So again, don't post too much information in a social media post. And the good thing is you can break things up, especially on Twitter, especially on Instagram. If you go out somewhere at a car show and there's 100 cars, you know what? You now have information to post for days. You can post 2 pictures, 2 cars for 20 days, and people are going to love it because they see these cars and they're all a little bit different, and you can say something different about each one. And when you're doing that, you're sharing the information about the car. Someone may not have paid attention if you had posted all 100 pictures and these long captions about each one. But if you had a 59 Chevrolet and a 48 Ford, and one day you post the 59 Chevrolet and the next day the 48 Ford, there's more chance of people learning about both of those that way than there is if you had posted them together, and especially if you posted them together with 98 other photographs of different cars. So you're now seeing that people gain more out of a little bit that's kind of broken up. And what that does too is it fills in content and gives you more posts and more chances to interact with people. So just to recap quick of this video, we started out with our social media tricks. The first one being have an image, have a video, have something visual that people can look at, because we are a visual people. And the more people use social media, the more they use their phones and their computers and things, the more that's going to happen. So it's going to become more and more and more essential for that to go on if you're a social media manager. The second thing is don't have too much. Don't say too much. You have a lot to talk about. You can talk about that on your website, your blog, but social media is not the place to post a dissertation about how to change your carburetor or a dissertation about how you pick up the trash. People don't want to see that, and they're not going to pay any attention. So if you want them to really learn about what you're doing, little bits at a time, feed them with a spoon, and give them more links to go to learn more, and it's going to draw traffic that way. So hopefully these 2 tips have helped you. If you have any questions or other social media tips, drop them in the comment. I love to chat about stuff like this, and hope to join you next week with 2 additional tips. So hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you soon.